Hi there! Welcome to episode 150 of the WaveBack Music Podcast. My name is Kris.
And I'm Matt.
And we're here with returning special guest Vicky!
Hello!
To listen to the most interesting video game music there is. To celebrate reaching our 150th episode, we've gathered together a special list of video game music tunes as requested by you, the listener. What do they all have in common? They're songs from games we covered in the past that we neglected to play. I hope you like oversights, because tonight we listen to the best of what we missed. Who doesn't love a good oversight?
My life is a series of oversights.
I feel like there were time constraints too. I pick a lot of long songs.
Yeah, I did this. I mean, I'll explain it all. I wrote this whole thing about it, but so this is our 150th episode. Thank you, everybody, for listening this long, and Vicky, thanks for coming back and joining us for this.
Woo! Woo! No problem.
It's very. We were all just talking about gardening before we started recording, which was fun.
Yeah.
Because apparently I can't do a podcast without talking about yard work. So.
I think you have a problem, Kris.
Yes, my problem is that I'm allergic to pollen.
Oh, join the club, man.
All right, so let's see. I wrote up a little bit here. WaveBack has changed a lot in its 150 episodes. At first, I more or less modeled the show after the earlier episodes of the Atari 2600 Game by Game podcast. Took a lot of inspiration from Ferg's early presentation, and listening to his show inspired me to tackle the subject of sharing my favorite video game music and analyzing it as a solo gig. Eventually, I decided that the show would benefit from a co-host, and I was lucky enough to have Vicky join me. Scheduling conflicts eventually brought the show to a halt for the both of us, but then I found Matt, and we've been able to make things work ever since. So things have changed a lot, but the one thing that hasn't really is the goal of trying to keep episodes to around 10 tracks. Now, believe me, if I could sit here and talk about video game music all day, I would, but anything more than 10 songs can turn into a very long episode that takes me even longer to edit. Unfortunately, that 10-song limit means that cuts need to be made sometimes, and as a result, there are some awesome tunes from games that we've covered that we've never listened to or discussed on the air, and that's where our listeners came in. Over on our Discord channel, the idea was floated to do an episode dedicated to the best songs that we skipped, and that's what I think we've come up with here. In fact, the song you heard over the intro of this episode was from episode 85, Cadence of Hyrule, Glockenspiel Battle, which is an awesome tune that we did not get a chance to listen to. So, thank you to our listeners for coming up with this awesome idea and for throwing this track list our way. And as a special bit at the end, Vicky, Matt, and I also all picked a song from episodes that we were involved in that we skipped. And just because it's funny, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tracks tonight.
Keeping in theme with those 10-track episodes.
We picked 11. Good times.
Yeah.
So, is everybody ready to rock?
Yep.
Awesome.
Always. Sorry.
Are you adequately prepared to rock? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're not gonna
do this.
dive into all the history and everything because we did that all in those individual episodes. So for all the composer information, I'll have links to all the actual full episodes that these songs come from or don't come from in the show notes. So the first one we're going to be listening to is from our 37th episode, Lost Odyssey. This song was recommended by Chronodin on our Discord server, and it is called Battle with the Demons. I'm going to go ahead and assume that this takes place during a battle with demons.
You would be right.
Or Battle with the Demonic Beast is what I have it named in here. I don't know. I'm excited. It's going to be fun. Let's give it a listen. Here is Battle with Demons or Battle with the Demonic Beast from Lost Odyssey. Enjoy. right, that was Battle with the Demonic Beast from Lost Odyssey by Nobuo Uematsu, and that was awesome.
I know. I always love when he uses horns. The trumpets, amazing.
That was awesome. I was particularly fond of the bass line and the low, deep piano.
I was gonna say I love it when a piano's just hammered on in that low register, because the resonance that comes out of it is just so great and so menacing. I'm right with you. I think it was. Absolutely great piece of music. I think my favorite parts are like how it's orchestral and there's just big sweeping passages, and then there's just that like shreddy guitar and they're like wow, menace. You know.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree that electric guitar coming in there was like really got my attention. This is this was a good one. I remember really liking the music to this game. Vicky, you brought this one to my attention in the first place, and I had never played this. Was it you, or was this a listener request? I don't remember.
Oh, it was me.
Yeah, it was you.
It was a Nobuo Uematsu thing, so it was 100% me. I'm obsessed.
I know my wheelhouse.
And I remember really enjoying the episode and saying, yeah, I should play this game someday. I, of course, didn't because,
It's kind of a rare game now, too.
Oh my goodness. It is. I think it's digital in some places, though, right? Did they throw this up on the Xbox store at some point?
Maybe.
I think.
Let's see. Lost Odyssey is... where... just says Xbox 360. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was
Either way,
3 discs, and I was always made fun of because, like, my friends had it on the PlayStation 3 at the time, and they were like, "Oh, you have to switch discs," and I'm like, "I don't care."
Well, this wasn't on PS3.
Wasn't it? Okay.
No, this was an Xbox exclusive. This was part of Microsoft's deal to like try and make a big play for the Japanese markets. They had Lost Odyssey, Eternal Sonata, and Blue Dragon, and it was actually on 4 dual-layer DVDs.
4? Oh god, it was 4. Okay.
That's rough.
That's a lot.
It
Magnificent. I've heard good things about the game. That was a very good pick. Thank you, Chronodin, for throwing that in our direction. And now it's time to move on to yet another RPG, because RPGs have giant soundtracks. Looking down the list, and wow, most of what's on here is an RPG. So this one comes to us. This was a recommendation by Matt Flamger. This is from episode 80, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. And the song we're listening to is Teehee Valley. I like this game. Teehee Valley. So let's go ahead and give it a listen. Teehee Valley from Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga by Yoko Shimomura. Enjoy. Teehee Valley from Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
That
Thank
was a
you, Matt, for
bop.
that. What did you guys think of that song?
Definitely a bop.
As the kids
Loved
say.
it. Love the flute. Yes, the kids say.
I like the very circus not pipe organ, like that. Just
Pan
kind of.
flute?
Yeah, it's got a very.
Calliope.
That's the word I was looking for. The Calliope. It's got a very very
Oh,
circusy Calliope vibe to it, and Matt Flaminger is a humongous Yoko Shimomura fan, and with good reason. She's amazing, and this is a great pick. Very very pleased with it.
Absolutely. It is in fact a bop, but in the respect that it actually makes me bop. I'm sitting here kind of like, you think of like two guys kind of standing with their fists in front of themselves, and one goes up while the other goes down, and then they alternate. That's like boom bop boom bop. It's got that kind of polka-y bass area.
Yeah, a little got the good old fashioned oompa going on there.
Yes, the oompa. I also really appreciate its like psych out moment, which is funny when it kind of. Let me see if I can bring it up while I'm talking about it. There's a moment where it kind of like it gives like a flourish, like it's gonna stop, and for all intents and purposes, it probably would, but then it just comes right back in. So you get this from me. I'm like, wow, that was beautiful. I wish it didn't end. Oh, it's back. This is great. Like moment for it. It's just a really fun little song.
Yeah, it is. Every single time I listen to something from this game, I'm always curious about what its a counterpart sounds like in the remake, and I feel like I'm usually disappointed by the remake, because while I'm not a huge fan of GBA, like the GBA's instruments are always so crunchy and low fidelity, I would hope that remakes always sound so much better, but there was something about the remake music in Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga that was like, it was good, but there was a certain character to the original versions that were just kind of missing from a lot of stuff in the remake, I thought. But I do want to go back and listen to this one because it's a neat tune. But we should probably keep this going. So next up we have from a fairly recent one. Well, I guess not that recent. God, it feels like it was just yesterday.
It really does, though. Honestly, I feel like this was just within the last year and a half.
Yeah, this is from episode 113. Was Secret of Mana, and this song is A Wish. This was recommended to us by Big Nine, and I don't remember what this song is. So, and I just played through this game for the first time late last year, but I have no recollection of what this is. So I'm looking forward to hearing it. The original song credit is Hiroki Kikuta, and let's give it a listen. Here's A Wish from Secret of Mana. That was A Wish from Secret of Mana, and I can't believe we skipped that one because it's so short and it's so lovely, and I feel like I've done a bad job.
And clearly so very recognizable, as all three of us heard it and went, oh yes, this song.
Yeah, as soon as the song started, we were like, oh yeah, that one I remember. Yeah, no, I absolutely remember this one. It's very... This is a really cool song because of... that I think of just because of the system it's on, because I'm trying to imagine this song coming out of a Genesis, and it's terrifying. Because the Super Nintendo is so uniquely suited to this kind of music, and because of the way it used sound samples and whatnot. So it's able to come across like, well, these flutes sounding really pretty instead of sounding shrill like they probably would coming out of other game systems that have sound chips that make their unique sounds. I just think it's a gorgeous piece.
I was gonna let Vicky's.
Whoops. Yeah, it's such like a cute song. It's like so calming and like fluffy in a way. I never knew like the specific terms to use. Oh, hold on.
Man down.
There we go. My phone was like picking up the background noise or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know like the technical term to use, but like fluffy is the word that comes to mind.
I get it. It's funny. I went to school for audio engineering, right? And they pretty much they trained you to be a studio engineer. So when you sit in on sessions, artists are very interesting people, musicians at the taking the top tier of that artist spectrum and really pushing it. And I've had engineers as teachers who've been in the industry 10, 20, 30 years. And they'll say things like, you'll get people telling you, this sounds good, but I want it to sound more like velvet. Yeah. I want it to be more purple. I want it to be more airy. Purple. So when you say it's fluffy, I absolutely, not only do I get it, but I see it in my head. I'm like, oh, I absolutely get that. Yeah, absolutely. It's a very light and airy kind of composition. It's so minimal, right? But it's so beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like just enough reverb on it to give it a presence and a space. It's great. It's a great track.
Heartily agree. Thank you, Big Nine. Okay, we're gonna stick with the RPG formula here, and
if it ain't broke.
And this one's wild because this actually comes from Earthbound, which we did 2 entire episodes on.
Oh, I actually just beat that a couple months ago.
Oh, nice. I need to go back and beat that again. It's been a while.
That's on my to-do list, yeah.
So this was episodes 90 and 91, and this is a great pick. I remember skipping over this one and being kind of sad about it. This was recommended by our friend Matt Much. And this is Your Name Please from the beginning of the game where you have to enter the name of you and answer some questions and stuff. And it's a super weird song. But Earthbound's a super weird game. And I like this one. There's a guy
named Pooh.
There is a guy named Pooh. And he's very different from the great mighty Pooh.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
So, let's see. This is from Earthbound, and the soundtrack to Earthbound is credited to Keiichi Suzuki, Hirokazu Tanaka, Hiroyoshi Kanazu, and Toshiyuki Ueno. And this is Your Name Please, the version with sound effects, because there's a version on the soundtrack that I have that doesn't have sound effects, but the sound effects are great, so we're sticking with them. Enjoy! that was Your Name Please from Earthbound. What a delightfully bizarre track.
Everything about that game is, bizarrely delightful.
Yeah.
I love the weird crowd sound effect that changes pitch in the beginning before it just kind of devolves into a really cool, smooth groove for the rest of the track. But man, that whole beginning part is so nutty, and I love it. What a great song.
Yeah, it kind of like sets you up for how the game is going to be. It's like, oh, okay, you're gonna fight some space aliens, and then you're gonna do some, little kid stuff, and then fight a weird gang? Question mark?
Yeah.
You may or may not join the Blues Brothers at some point.
Right.
I like how they put Earthbound Beginnings on Switch, and I was like, all right, I'm finally ready to try Earthbound Beginnings. And like, within like the few seconds of starting the game, I got into a fight with a lamp. And I was like, yep, this is...
That's it.
This is definitely the prequel to Earthbound. I am totally into it.
This is exactly what I paid for.
Yeah, this was a great track. Thank you, Mr. Matt Much for this. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
I mean, that bass line is just super slick.
Oh yeah.
I can't not listen to that and stay, sedentary. I have to do something. I have to bop my head or something. I don't know, man. It's a super slick track. Like, if you strip away, the nuttiness of the sound of the sound effects and stuff, at its very core, you just have a really cool, like, low key funk song, which is again is super impressive for something, Famicom and Nintendo. It's wow,
Well, that's because it was created by Hirokazu Tanaka, also known as Chip Tanaka.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The king
one of my
of
all-time favorites.
Yeah.
One of my absolute...
give credit where credit's due, man.
Yeah, Hip Tanaka is I know he's Chip Tanaka now, but I always know him as Hip Tanaka. From the old days, he was Hip Tanaka, and now he goes by Chip Tanaka. But Hirokazu Tanaka is he's absolute all time, and in fact, sometime in June you might hear something from us about that. We're figuring something out with other video game music podcasts, which is fun. But either way, Earthbound has a tremendous soundtrack, and I'm so glad we get to listen to some more of it. So, our first non-RPG of the night, this comes to us from episode 132, Nights into Dreams. This is a request from Big Nine again, and the song is called Message from Nytopia. So let's see, this soundtrack is credited to a handful of folks. We've got Neofumi Hataya, Tomoko Sasaki, and Fumi Kumatani. And I love this game's soundtrack, and we didn't get to cover all of it, obviously, in our episode, and this is a good song. So here is Message from Nytopia. Enjoy. Oh, that was Message from Nytopia. I like this funky breakdown at the end. It's pretty neat.
I love the Sega Sound team so much.
Oh my
God.
God.
They are not afraid to do anything. They make some of the greatest music ever. Like, some of my favorite playlists are from the Night soundtrack. Like, this song was so good. It's like a wild J-pop adventure.
You know, the
Hard
whole time
agree.
listening to this, I was thinking that, like, given the time frame in which this was made and stuff, you could argue that this is kind of like the early stages of J-pop and stuff, or like, you know, I don't know that they are pioneers necessarily, because I'm not up and up on my J-pop history is severely lacking. Shock to all our listeners. So I'm not sure where this sits in the timeline, but this is so J-pop in its just inherent nature.
It is so
And then-
also...
and like-
oh, go ahead.
And I'm sorry, and like the best possible way too. I realize I kind of said that in a way that, you know, I might be like, meh. No, it's the best possible way.
I did like a deep dive. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
We're all interrupting Kris.
It is okay. I was just going to say that this is so very emblematic of the Saturn. Like, this particular kind of soundtrack is just what really, really reminds me of the Saturn. Like, the kind of like the drum beat that's going on in the background, this high quality synthesized CD sound, you know what I mean? Like, it was the first generation that was, had capabilities of putting CD quality music in there, and so they had some of it was like live bands, but a lot of it was really this high quality MIDI sound that is so it's just so just nostalgic for that specific generation. I love it.
I also like how they used, I don't know if it's technically the main theme, but the song is called Dreams, Dreams.
Da-da-da, da-da-da.
Yeah. And my favorite part about that is one of the guys from the Bruce Springsteen like sessions band, Curtis King Jr., sings that song.
What?
Yeah. And I love that I thought it was so cool. There's like a male and female version of the song, and then there's like a child version, which is like weird. And I like that the Bruce Springsteen guy was like involved with this.
Wow. Hey, I learn something new every day.
Yep.
Well, thank you again, Big Nine. It was an excellent pick. So, moving on, we are traveling to another two-part episode that we still managed to miss a ton of tracks from, and this is episodes 104 and 105, where Super Mario RPG, The Legend of the Seven Stars. This is Matt Flamger once again recommending a Yoko Shimomura tune, Seeing Dreams Through the Window of the Stars from Super Mario RPG. I can't place this one off the top of my head, but it's from Mario RPG, so I know it's awesome. So let's give it a listen. Enjoy. lovely tune. If I don't miss my memory, this was part of the ending sequence of this game, and it's a lovely song.
It was very cute. It
This whole game's very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this before or after Paper Mario?
Before. This is Super Nintendo. Paper Mario was originally Super Mario RPG 2.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was. You can look up. There's a bunch of video and images of it because it was first shown off as Mario RPG 2, and then it was changed to Paper Mario because I guess they wanted to start their own thing and not really call it a follow-up because kind of isn't a follow-up. It's kind of its own thing, but yeah, good times.
It reminds me of that, so there you go.
There's a very music box element to it. I envision like Mario posed rather as a ballerina. You open it up and he just kind of rotates and this plays. I've said it before, I said it again. Gorgeous composition. Minimal. In this case, less is more. It's just it does speak volumes in its simplicity. It's a fantastic piece of music, and I mean, Mario RPG is again in my like pantheon of great games. That needs to be played again. Just for me, it just needs to be played again.
Absolutely, I agree. I think I just replayed this early last year or the year before. I played through this again, and it holds up. It's a tremendously awesome game. I really wish this one could. This is one of those games I really think deserves a remake because the CG they used for the game is so. This game was really pushing the Super Nintendo in a lot of ways, and even if they just a straight 1-to-1 remake, clean up the visuals to look modern, I think this would be a marvelous thing to re-experience. Not that there's anything particularly wrong with the Super Nintendo version, but I would love to see this one remade and put a bit more modern and, well, I guess make a little bit more sense to the Geno warriors that are out there on the internet, because, boy, people really love that character, and he appeared in this game. But
that's wild.
Yeah, this is pretty much where Geno is from, and I think he had like a cameo in one other game for like a few seconds, but this is the Geno game, and it's a marvelous game and a wonderful, wonderful soundtrack. And this particular one's really memorable. It's like, it calls back to a bunch of other themes that are played throughout the course of the game, and it just handles itself brilliantly. Well done, Miss Shimomura. And thank you, Matt Flamger, for throwing this one in our direction. So we're going to travel back to episode 113 for yet another song from Secret of Mana that we missed. This is, once again, recommended to us from Big Nine, and this is A Bell is Tolling. Better be a bell in this song, is all I'm saying.
I don't like false advertising.
Well, let's give it a listen and see if it turns out okay. Enjoy. That is a bell is tolling. I didn't hear a bell, did you?
I mean, I would count the little beep, beep, beep. There's a bell.
I was gonna jump in and save you, but I thought this could be funny. I was gonna say that little what I always call the crystalline part, because I feel like on those Casios and those, all-in-one keyboards, they have a setting, like a sound patch setting called like crystalline. And I always feel like that's what that was. So I'm gonna agree with Vicky on this one. I heard the bell there.
There it is. All right, fine. You guys win.
2-1.
The bell has tolled.
That's it. You're ousted. Goodbye. My all-time favorite part of this song is when that snare just comes out of nowhere,
and it is a very distinct Secret of Mana snare. Like that snare is all over this soundtrack, and it's so unmistakably this game.
It reminds me of like there's a Tool track that I love, which of course the name I can't think of. And then there's an Alice in Chains track, which I think it's I think it's Nutshell. Can't remember, but both songs do the same thing. You have the guitarist playing and the vocalists are singing, and in the Alice in Chains song, and you think, all right, it's gonna be, and then this big snare just comes out of nowhere, crack, and you're like, oh, and then the song, and then everyone's playing. You're like, wow, I thought the song was great before, but once everything, all cylinders are firing, like this puppy picks up, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Could definitely agree on that. This is it's fun. It's a fun tune. It seems like really, really, really mystical and kind of ambient to start with, and then, like you said, when that snare drum comes in, it just like goes full Secret of Mana on you. It's a terrific song. Anybody else have anything else to add before we move on?
I will say I'm bummed the loop is that short, though. I really could have gone for another, 5 more minutes of that, just that loop.
It's always a very short, they have very short tracks in these songs, but I guess they're, supposed to eventually loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time placing exactly where this song was used in the game, but, boy, that game really just kept going, huh?
All it said, it was a long game, yeah.
I'm glad I finally played through it, but I am never going to do that again.
Oh
no. Would you like to talk about it, Kris?
No, thanks. I've talked about this one plenty. It was an experience that I'm glad I had, but wow. Yeah. That was by the end of it I was like, it's like, what is it what Mitch Hedberg said about pancakes, You first get pancakes, you're like, oh boy, pancakes. But by the ton, everybody's sick of them.
Yep.
That's how I felt about Secret of Mana. So, anyways, moving on to our next track. This was recommended to us from Duroc Pig. This was going all the way back to episode 4 This was actually one we just did a whole series of revisiting older games that we covered. And this is one that I actually wanted to do, but didn't. It wound up getting cut in favor of actually doing this episode for our 150th. And this is from Sonic 2, and the song is Metropolis Zone. I actually skipped a bunch of really good tunes from Sonic 2 because it's got a surprisingly long soundtrack. And this is a really good one. So this great pick, Dark Pig, thank you for this. Let's go ahead and listen to Metropolis Zone by Masato Nakamura from Sonic 2. Enjoy! 90s enough for you?
That was so good.
Ooh.
Love this song. It's such a catchy tune. It's got all those very 90s, like the record scratch things and whatnot. And the crazy little like it's the little off kilter kind of bit before the loop. It's so wonderful, but it's such a good song. I love Sonic 2.
Yeah, I love like tracks where you can see you can visualize what the level looks like in your head. Like, I knew exactly what this was as soon as it started.
It's no secret I'm not a
big
fan of this. Oh man, it's no secret that I'm not a big fan of the Sonic franchise in general. And you guys had such nice things to say, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Wow.
No, all right, okay.
There's so much Sonic music this year. It's gonna be great.
Oh! You're lucky I like doing this show. No, all right, okay. I'll be a little serious for a second here. It is prototypical 1990s hip hop by way of non-American musicians. There's just an overload. There's just so much going on, and like it's the most. I don't know how to put into words how I feel about it. Like it's definitely a lot going on. So for me, I already come to the table kind of with like an axe to bear, or grind rather, for Sonic. So then when I hear this, I'm already like starting at kind of a negative space. I will say that it might bring me back up to nominal to some extent, because it is a fun track, like all things being equal. Composition's very interesting, and I know I could say that with sarcasm, but it's a very interesting composition. Definitely not something I reach for, but at the same time, like I kind of look back on it with a nostalgia that really is kind of tongue-in-cheek for me. Like there's a lot of cheese here for me, and I love cheese as much as the next guy or gal, but
it definitely has. One of the things I like about this, and I feel a lot of the Sonic 2 soundtrack, is that if you remove if you take the extra 90s flourish from this song and just boil it down to its basics, it's a good tune. It's got really good bones under there. Now,
yes.
The extreme 90s-ness of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is inescapable. It's just part of that game's personality. And I feel that it adds to this song those little extra flourishes. But at the same time, I do get what you're saying. If that's not your cup of tea, then
it's gonna be bitter, very bitter. Yeah,
it's not gonna be easy to get through. But at the same time, I do think that this has a lot of really good points, really good underlying points with the melody and whatnot.
Right, and that's kind of what I wanted to showcase a bit, is my personal opinion aside of the franchise and the style and stuff, right? All that notwithstanding, it's still a very interesting composition. It's got a lot of good bones, the sound for the time. There's a lot of positive stuff here. I think you guys think it's funny that I hate Sonic. I don't know. Or maybe I think it's funny that I hate Sonic, or I enjoy that Kris laughs at me that I hate Sonic. I don't know what it is. A combination. I don't know.
It was kind of like when we were... I enjoy that because it reminds me of me when we did the Sonic Adventure episodes with, with the Alexes.
The hated it. You hated that soundtrack.
But the kicker is that we audio got jacked up and we had to do the second part a second time.
Had to do the second one a second time.
And it's like, what else? What else are you going to subject these poor guys? Listen, those were great times. The Alexes are awesome. I love them. Have them on whenever, all the time, every time. But, again, it's funny how, what distaste we have for those particular games. And it's just on Front Street. Just no bones about it. Because, we're fairly upbeat, positive guys about, when we listen to stuff, even when we don't like it. Like, just now, we talk about it in a sense, but listen, there's a silver lining to everything. That one, we were like, nah, no smoke and mirrors here today, man.
But we found the good in those songs. We did.
Yes.
We definitely appreciated what they were.
Proud of you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That means a lot. That honestly means a lot to me.
All right, so the last of our listener request songs is, once again, from episodes 104 and 105, Super Mario RPG. This one was recommended by Bedroth, and this is Yoster Isle, or Welcome to Yoster Isle, I believe is the full name of the track. This is a really, really fun, catchy little tune. It's also got some whistles in it.
I think you pronounced it wrong. It's Welcome, Yoster Island.
Right, welcome.
Exclamation points.
Yoster Island.
I love the unnecessary punctuation. Welcome, exclamation point, yo, apostrophe, stir, island, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Yeah, true. This is meant to be screamed, so thanks, Bedroth, for the pick. Let's go ahead and listen to Welcome, Yoster Island! Enjoy.
There you go.
Alright, that was Welcome Yoster Island from Super Mario RPG by Yoko Shimomura, recommended by Bedroth. What'd you guys make of that one?
I love anything that has to do with Yoshi, so it was perfect. This is the most Yoshi song ever.
I have to agree.
It's so adorable.
You were, Vicky, you were
happy.
talking before. Oh yeah, you were talking before about like seeing it in your mind's eye, the music dictating what you. All I see are the multicolored Yoshis, just kind of standing there staring at you from inside the television, just like kind of swaying, almost like join us, come join us. But you know the lush green, you know that like the Super Mario has on the screen, the lush greens of those palm trees and the grass and stuff like. It's a very vibrant tune that really gives me a very vibrant visual. Because, yeah, everything Yoshi is very vibrant, you know.
Yeah, and this is also the island where Boshi exists, the evil Yoshi.
Oh, Boshi!
It's got sunglasses.
Oh!
No, I mean, we already talked a bunch about how much we love Mario RPG, and this was... Excuse me. This was a good one. I think the only reason it didn't make the playlist for episodes 104 and 105 to begin with because it's kind of similar to other like hyper happy songs from Mario RPG. And because the soundtrack is so diverse, we kind of wanted to stick with try to show off as many different songs as possible. But I love this tune. It's one that sticks in my head whenever I play this game. And thanks, Bedroth, for getting it into the episode.
Yeah.
All right, so we've all that's left is our picks. So we're gonna start with Vicky. And what do you got for us?
Obviously, Final Fantasy X, my favorite Final Fantasy.
Nice. That was episode 21, right?
Oh yeah! Oh my god, that was so long ago. That was before I started like cataloging everything correctly. Because I tried to go back to find the track list, and I was like, oh god, this is before he added the track list, so I had to listen to the whole episode again. And
I never
realized-
added the track lists.
Yep.
I've never done that. I should, but I never have gone back to do that.
I realized how, like, bad my audio was at the time, and I was, like, very embarrassed for myself.
Aww.
I've improved now, but I still have the same microphone.
Goodness, that was March 2016.
Oh, so long ago.
We were just babies.
We're
Oh.
just babies.
That was, John was 3.
Speaking of babies.
Yeah. Ellie wasn't born yet. And we were still in North Jersey at that time? Yeah, it was still... Yeah, because when Ellie was born when we moved down here. So yeah, I was still up in North Jersey. Good
I was
times.
still in North Jersey.
Wowzers.
I'm still in the
Kia
Bronx.
Purifico. And this is one of the... We'll just listen to it, and I'll go into it afterwards.
All right. Here we go. Well, that was gorgeous.
Right? Love all the piano music in this game.
Makes me want to swim.
Yeah, there's actually a swing portion in this where you play as Titus or Titus. I don't know. I'm calling him Titus.
He's the guy with the silly laugh.
Yeah, he got the silly laugh, he got the silly hair, and the bird cage on his leg.
And the asynchronous shorts.
I like asymptomatic better.
Asymptomatic shorts.
But yeah,
Something wrong with your shorts. I don't feel it.
Oh my God.
Really, I don't feel a thing.
I love this part of the game though, because you get to play as Yuna for like a brief period of time. And
Oh, nice.
it's always nice to play as a different character in Final Fantasy that isn't your normal main character. It's like a whole new element.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into character development and character backgrounds. I mean, these games are all massive epics. You know, they're just so vast.
Yeah, I've still never finished this one, but I've really appreciated the music that I got to hear when we did the episode in the first place, and this was another great piece to add to that collection. It's very, very pretty.
Yeah. I mean, epic game. The soundtracks are just as massive. They're just as widely loved, clearly. I mean, case in point, this song is just freaking gorgeous. Like, it's just a piano and, like... So, yeah, I mean, just another gorgeous piece out of the... It's like everything about Final Fantasy is like, if they told you they were coming out with a new Final Fantasy game, you can already go like, yeah, it's going to be a classic. Album's going to be a banger. Like, characters are going to be beloved. Like, let's go.
Well, not always.
I know. Yeah, well, I mean, everyone has a favorite child and a not-so-favorite child. So,
13.
Hey.
What?
Wait, which one was 13?
I was just thinking about that game. I listened to another podcast where a guy was playing through it for the first time in a long time. I still have my copy sealed, sitting on the shelf over there. I bought that game because of the launch trailer. Yeah. Like, the last trailer for that game was one of the most effective game trailers I've ever seen. It made the game look incredible, and the music they used was outstanding. And then I bought the game, and I never even opened it.
That's what happened.
A lot of people
Nino
didn't like that game. Oh, wow. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of great things about that one, and I've also never touched that one. But I don't have a sealed copy sitting on my shelf.
I have a sealed copy of that.
Nice.
Yeesh. It bees like that, though, you know?
Sometimes it do. Well, excellent pick, Vicky. Thank you for that. All right, Matt, you're up from episode 68. What do we got?
Man, this was my first episode pick, right? My first choice. I have to. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, this again." I love ActRaiser. Deal with it, okay? You'll love it as much as I do too. I promise you. If you don't already. I big fan of the game. Big fan of the soundtrack. Big fan of the composer. Yuzo
Koshiro.
Yeah. Great stuff. Great work. We just for time, this song was cut. And I figured, why the heck not just throw it on here and kind of complete the set, you know what I mean? This is World Tree from ActRaiser by Yuzo Koshiro. Enjoy.
Well, that was World Tree from ActRaiser, or as it's called in my soundtrack, All Over the World. I like your name better, World Tree, so let's stick with that. That's a good pick, Matt.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that, sir. I like, I could gush on and on and on about, how much I love that soundtrack and its composition and stuff. One of the things I think why I'm glad I brought this one to the table is if you've never listened to the ActRaiser soundtrack before, or if you haven't heard our episode, or if you've never played it, or you saw, the remake on the Switch and you thought, I don't know, go for it. Why I put this track, though, I think, is because when you really listen to that opening portion, right, before it really gets into its dynamics and it gives you really the meat and potatoes of the track, I think that opening, 10, 15, 20 seconds or so is really kind of what the game itself presents on a thematic scale. A lot of the music has these epic, valiant themes. You're as the main character, you're traversing, these 2D side-scrolling landscapes that are, fairly well put together. You get all these different levels. You get a desert level, you get a night level, you get an ice level, you get a and I think the music really accompanies that very well, and it gives the player, I'm only speaking about myself, the impression that this is a very vast game, even though, it's a Super Nintendo game. It's about 7 or 8 levels, and all the tropes are there. You fight all the bosses again before you fight the main boss and stuff. But the music, to me, really, really sells this game. Now, I don't think the game needs more selling, right? As I sit here and attempt to shill it out. But the music really partners well with this. And, I couldn't imagine sitting down and writing this for that. It's just big. And then, finally, as the loop trails off, there's such a lushness to just the little minute sounds that you're getting as everything's fading away. It still feels like vast to me. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, as it was ending, I was like, oh, that's it, huh? Okay. That's a little sad. I wish it would keep going.
Yeah, I do. There are times that I hear stuff and I think, man, I wish that loop was just a little bit longer. But,
Yeah, it was a little surprising that it came to an end as soon as it did, especially considering how long the track is listed as.
I know. Yeah.
But it was very enjoyable while I was there. It's got that very early Super Nintendo trumpety sound going on.
Yeah.
And one of the things that this soundtrack does so extraordinarily well is, while you can still tell that people were learning the ins and outs of what the hardware could do sonically, the compositions that Koshiro came up with for this definitely transcend that. They're outstanding pieces of music that, no matter what instruments are being played, the strings don't sound quite right. They're very segmented. They don't really flow together. And that was stuff that they would figure out in later Super Nintendo Square games like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy III, etc. But it doesn't even matter. It's almost like you don't even hear it after a minute because it just sounds like great music. It's wonderful. Wow, 2 Square songs right in a row, huh? Final Fantasy and then ActRaiser. Way to go, you two.
Feels like payola around here, huh?
Well, I am. We're all used up here. We're all tracked out, minus the whatever we're gonna go out on. So how you guys feeling?
With my hands.
Huh?
Well, this was a hoot. I very much enjoyed this episode. Thank you, Vicky, for joining us for this. It's always a pleasure to have you back. Have you back around. It's nice to hear from you again. And Matt, well, yes. I just love you.
Oh, Kris, you're lucky this isn't a video podcast.
So yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you to all of our listeners for sticking with us for all this time, 150 episodes, and for suggesting all these tracks, because this was a really good time to go through. So that's our show. Join us next time when we'll be doing another listener-submitted episode, but it's actually a fully listener-submitted episode. Rob Metzger has compiled a list of the best shooter music around, and we're going to listen and discuss. It should be fun, so I'm looking forward to it. If you have any submissions for the episode, send them on over. That was from the last script, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Good times.
I did my homework.
We here at the WaveBack Podcast are incredibly grateful to everyone who listens, and we love communicating with you when we can. We have a couple of ways you can do that. There's the Geekade Discord channel, in which we have a WaveBack chat where we frequently discuss all manner of stuff related to video game music or whatever our next episodes are going to be. We also have a WaveBack forum page over on Facebook, which you can find by searching WaveBack on Facebook. Of course, you can always still send us an email at mail@geekade.com, and while you're at it, check out all our other social media channels, which you should totally follow, like, and subscribe to if you haven't already. And be sure to check out all the other great content we have on our site over at geekade.com. Vicky, do you have anything to plug?
Oof, no, unfortunately.
Oof.
No, yeah, oof. I'm not hustling right now.
That's okay
cool.
too.
That's fine. It's good that you're not hustling. It's nice to not need to. What about you, Matt? What do you got?
Honestly, I don't have much of anything right now, so yeah.
This show.
Yeah, of course.
Listen
Keep
to
listening.
WaveBack,
Get on the
yeah.
Discord, chat with us. I personally, I don't know about you, Kris, right? I'm not calling you out, but I really enjoy our Discord community. Like, everybody's so chill, and like, you know, when there's difference of opinions, nobody gets upset, and we like talk about all, and everyone's funny. Like, everyone has like everyone's quick with a joke or a gif or something. It's like my community. I really enjoy everyone who's there. And then if you're listening, join us, man. If you haven't already, just totally join us. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, heartily agree. I love our Discord. Both the Geekade and the Stone Age Gamer Discords are, like I said before, we do a bunch of yard work talk in the Stone Age Gamer podcast. Discord, everyone was sharing their gardens and what they've planted. A couple of our listeners were planting strawberries, which made me think maybe I should try strawberries. I feel like I wouldn't be able to get that past the squirrels in my yard, and I don't feel like building a caged thing.
You would have to plant the protectorate plants and stuff.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
like peppermint and things like that.
Oh.
Flamethrowers and
Flamethrowers.
You can make it a tower defense game.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
this is not Rust.
All right, well then with
Fantastic.
that, we are going to leave you with a tragic oversight that I made in our very first episode.
Shame.
For shame. Back when I thought this show needed its own unique theme song, I tended to skip out on playing absolutely magical staff credit themes, including from our first episode, Balloon Kid. Like the rest of the soundtrack, it is a fantastic little tune, and I can think of no better way to end this particular episode than righting that wrong from day one. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time, and here is the staff credits theme from Balloon Kid. See you next time.